Hi, it's Carol, and thank you for stopping by for my cross-stitching update. This covers my stitching from the early part of February 2024, and I mentioned on my last video that I was really excited about being able to switch out projects with the change in month, and I have found that really helpful for keeping me focused on my whips. I don't have an insane amount right now, I only have 22, but this allows me to not be overwhelmed with picking out of that 22. I only am picking out of 8, so I'm going to show you at the end of the video how I go about doing that. But first off, I'm just going to jump right into the whips. First up, it's Modern Folk Embroidery's The Fruit of Plenty. This is the 2021 Sow, and yeah guys, I'm finally into the June card. Here's where I was last time. And this is my progress. I had like a bunch of this stuff to do, and I went ahead and used it. This was like a piece that I picked out for February, and what I'm using it for is I have 30 minutes every day that it's in the morning. It's right after my kids leave for school and I'm on the phone. Well, I like to have something to keep my hands busy, and this is the perfect cross-stitching project for doing that. I'll get about 2.5 to 3 links of floss done in the time that I'm on the phone, and this is a week's worth of work. So we'll say maybe 2.5, 3 hours. I did not, and maybe a little more than that. I will say closer to 3. But I haven't given this like my main stitching focus of any one day. This is being just like, hey, I'm gonna do, basically I decided I'm just gonna do 30 minutes a day for the month of February, see how far I get and see how I'm feeling about it. And it has been so helpful seeing what those small daily blocks of stitching can accomplish. As you can see, I totally finished off the May card, and I'm really working on, in this case, so the 2 colors, the darker color, mimicking what you see with this octagon over here, we're creating it over here. I'm just using that as kind of like, okay, this is done. And I created this side like boundary over here, and now I'm just using the lighter color and filling in through here. I love this. I am so in love with this project again. I'm glad that I had taken the time to not work on it. And I don't know, it's great when sometimes you can just put something down and be like, yes, this is why I like this project. And when you pick it up, it's so exciting again. My next project is my newest start. This is the Dimensions Gold Collection Stocking, Holy Night. And yeah, it's Holy Night. I always have to check that. I want to say Holy Family because that's the actual subject matter, but Holy Night. So this is one that I'm hoping to finish this year just because I would really, really like to have a stocking. So here's what it was last time. And this is my little bit of progress. I maybe have given an hour to this. It was just, I kind of picked it up one evening because it is on an 18 count Aida. So for the evenings when my eyes are tired, and the lighting in our family room is, to be kind, not very good. The overhead light is weirdly too bright, and 2 of the bulbs are burnt out, and we haven't felt like replacing it. And it's just, so I've been using like a lamp and more indirect lighting. It's great for like ambience in the space, not so great for stitching. So the 18 count is just kind of, those are like the evenings where I'm just like, I don't want to add extra light. The Aida is so nice to work on. My cow now has a single eye, so that's pretty cool. And I think you can tell now that this is a cow. Before it was just kind of a mush of brown. I like this. I feel like it does stitch out relatively fast, like faster than I thought it was going to. And I don't know, it's just so cute. As far as, I mean, I guess when I say cute, like I like the art style for this. And one of the things that I started, like you have where you can see the lighter tones, you see the shadow, and then you have like clearly 2 different light sources. So what I think is really neat is seeing the light gold pieces here that are actually coming off of the infant Jesus. So I just, from a artistic standpoint, I didn't notice it until I started stitching and go, oh wait, the light's coming from. There's two different, because there's a little bit, the light up here though is not nearly as bright because it's just the night sky, if you will. It's kind of the general lighting. And then just to see like, oh, that looks really neat. So it's a lot of fun. And I'm hoping that I'm going to spend some more time this month. I've only worked on it one day so far. And I don't know, I'd really like to make some good substantial progress this month. I had mentioned with the Finish and Autumn Queen that I wanted to focus on getting all my seasonal queens done. So Mirabilia Designs, Winter Queen. Here's where she was last time. Here she is today. I haven't done a lot. I feel like I should have done more, but it's kind of neat. I got the back stitching done here, and I've been stitching on a lot of white, like so much white. But I did get the edge, this is like the edge of her cloak over here, so it was nice being able to bring the back stitching down. And so this actually is pretty well filled in. Like my missing part is like this white chunk here in the middle on her dress. And then just because I wanted to do more of the blues, I came over here and started, like I filled in a couple of the gaps that existed through here, and then I'm just adding more of the blue here. I really, every time I sit down and work on her, she's just such a delight. I love this piece, highly recommend it. I don't know if it's still in print. Like this time last year, I think it was the only one of the seasonal queens that was still in print, but which I think is funny because it's the earliest. I mean, it's MD13. This is definitely an older design, but from 1995. But I love her. Everything about her is such a joy to stitch. One that hasn't come out in a while, and I was kind of pleased to pull it back out. Modern Folk Embroidery, Ave Maria, the Annunciation. Here's where it was last time. And this is my teeny tiny amount of progress. I didn't spend a lot of time on this, but I'm just really happy to have made it up to, this is the far upper right corner. And I think because I was like, I knew I was close to the edge, but I didn't know exactly where. So it was just nice to really be able to find that, rounding the corner. I do like the outside border is, once you get into the groove, is relatively mindless stitching. So I really enjoy that. And have two more of the letters done. The funny part is now, so I have the Archangel Gabriel over here. The Blessed Mother, by not being here, looks a little like, but I don't want to, the counting from this direction or this direction is too long for me to do, particularly on one. And there's a really great spot, but it's like the shortest distance counting, but it's not linked till down here. And it just, that like, right, I did realize that as I rounded the corner, I'm like, oh, the whole piece now looks slightly unbalanced. Just because if you've noticed, I do like to kind of stay like, I pretty much try to complete as much around an area as possible, but in this case, it's just the, like I said, it makes sense for me why I haven't gotten to Mary yet, but I don't know, it really stuck out to me. But meanwhile, like, all of this is all really nice and tidy. I can basically do the entire border before worrying about filling anything in, and it'll always be right next to each other, minimal counting. It's just a quirk of mine, so I don't know why it bothers me. It just kind of does, just that little bit. But I should pull this out again. This is one of my February ones, so there'll be time to work on it some more this month. And who knows where maybe I'll actually end up doing that counting anyway, just so I can have some work done here. My second newest whip is Long Dog Samplers, Mick the Miller. Here's where it was last time. And here it is today. I ended up, this project is me in a frogging nightmare. So I can't remember if I've told you on a prior video, but I had done like this entire back half of this dog down here, realized I had miscounted, had to rip it back, redo it, and it turned out fine. Okay, cool, I'm thinking, good, that's like the one bad piece of luck for this project. What I showed you last time, which is pretty much everything above this little dog here, I had to rip out. I miscounted again. I had 2 extra rows. Everything was 2 rows too high. I do not know if it's because I just don't pay attention, or because the symbols, I don't know. I don't normally have this much trouble keeping track of where I'm in a project, but this one, for whatever reason, I am just really, really not good with. So like this poor dog, at one point, like he had his tail was starting, there's like another flower motif that's much bigger than this one. Had to take it all out. I love how this looks. I have no issues with my threads. I have no issues with the fabric, but like me and it just, we are not getting along, and I don't know why. Which is because I love how this looks, and this dog is so cute. And this one is basically gonna be this dog, but facing that way. Like, I love it, it's adorable. So I don't know what it is, but like, I am really hoping that I am not going to be stitching this entire project functionally twice because I keep having to frog everything. So wish me luck as I like, next time I pick this up that it goes better. Like that would be really nice because this is not a very large project. I mean, if you consider, basically this dog is almost done, not totally done, but we'll say that between this dog equals the, it's probably about 20% done, like, of this entire thing. It's I mean, there's 8 of these in total, so 1, 2, 3, 4, a small border. That's it, that's the piece. Like, this one shouldn't take that long. And I think maybe that's why it gets frustrating when I ended up having to frog, because it's like, this shouldn't be this hard. But there's no way to hide it when I'm as off as I am either. So, them's the breaks, I guess. Oh well, all of the pieces I've shown you so far are actually my February work, but I do have from the end of January, Geraniums was the last piece that I worked on last month. Here's where it was last time. And this is where we are today. So I have mostly finished this leaf here, coming down the sides a little more. I didn't put a huge amount of time in this, but one thing that I did find that worked really well for me is, this is a printed canvas. One of the things that kind of can stink about the printed canvas, when you have none of the yarn filled in, each of these colors that are over here on the side, all 19 of them, are really obvious and distinct. And you're like, oh, I can totally tell the difference between this sort of, like, I'm pointing down here, so there is like this, we'll call it a gray green right next to a light green, and when there's nothing around, you can very easily tell that one of them is supposed to be number 9 and one of them is supposed to be number 8. So I don't know if you can tell though how close these colors are in contrast. They're not high contrast with each other. The problem is, once you start filling in with the yarn, then you're losing all sense of how much differentiation there is between the printed colors on the canvas. And I had been really struggling. I'd been using put a white sheet of paper underneath, and I was like kind of doing okay with how I felt like I was guessing. And it's not true for everything. I mean, my biggest issue has been this leaf in particular was really hard, which means that all of this is going to be kind of the same problem. I don't have as many issues with the actual geraniums themselves because there is enough difference in contrast between this orange and the red to know that one of them is going to be a dark peach, one of them is red. It all works out fine. I got a reading light. It's one of these you're supposed to put around your neck, magnification for like reading in bed after dark. It's like a little, because they're like little spotlights, they do such a great job of really like super lighting up this space. My Ott light was not doing that. So I was just like, hey, this is awesome. I can finally see, even in, again, I won't even say like, I was having trouble with this in sunlight. So it was just really exciting to find that adding more light helped a lot. I wanted to share just the smallest piece of haul. I have been trying to do my best to not buy stitchy anything right now. I figure I have enough materials floating around here. I can start like 5 projects today and it's like no big deal. So I'm very like, very bad about that if I wander into the LNS. A lot of patterns follow me home. Like, that's my weakness, is patterns. So in this case, trying to see if we get, I decided to get the DVD for the Just Cross Stitch collection, 1983 to 1990. And part of this is because my grandmother, in her stash after she passed away, my family ended up with a singular copy of the April 1990 Just Cross Stitch, and I loved flipping through it. It actually has, like, this one down here at the bottom, it had like one of the, and it was like you were supposed to have the entire set, but we only had one copy. And when I was flipping through this magazine in 1996, there was no way to go find all these back issues and get all the cool patterns. Well, and I always wanted to stitch this street scene. So when I saw this on Amazon, I couldn't resist. I went ahead and got it anyway. So I haven't opened it up and looked through yet. And I mean, I'll say this, I even now, like when I'm rolling through Jan, I'll still pick up like the current copy of Just Cross Stitch when I see it. So I figure, if nothing else, this is like fun. Hopefully I find something in here to enjoy. And if not, it doesn't take up nearly as much room as the rest of the patterns in my stash. But it is funny. My daughter's like, wait, you could get stuff on DVD? Because she was thinking, like, what, am I going to watch this on TV? And I'm like, no, it's like storage. And explaining to her DVD-ROMs came after CD-ROMs, and realized that she had no idea what a CD-ROM is. And it was at that moment I felt old, and trying to explain to her. Then, like, 2010, the downloading was still slow enough. It was faster to do it this way. Obviously, you know, so I guess I'm like, and I am thinking about picking up the 1990s collection too. So I don't know how many more of these are floating around out there, but I don't know. It just seemed like a fun little piece to acquire. Like I said, it was the being able to get this. This is actually what got it for me. But yeah, like I said, trying to not do haul right now. Wish me luck. Like I said, I need to finish projects and start the kits that I have and use the fabrics that I have in stash. The only thing I'm actually telling myself I'm allowed to buy is floss, because I don't keep more than I absolutely really need around. So no, like, I don't have a full set of DMC, nor do I ever want one, because I don't know where I'd put it. And then lastly, I figured I would share with you a little bit about how I narrowed down for picking my February projects. I have 3 more that are, because I picked out 8. You only saw 5 in this update. So I have 3 more that you should see over the course of the month. But what I do is I think it's called Decision Roulette. I have an Android phone, so that there's like a bunch of these, like, make your decision for you. Well, anyway, so I have a list, and in this case, I had all of my current whips. For the month, I pick out 3 that I have decided are pieces that I definitely want to work on this month. So I went with that I definitely wanted to work on Winter Queen, I definitely wanted to work on Mick the Miller, and I definitely wanted to work on Fruit of Plenty. So I went ahead, kicked them out. I then kicked everything out that I had worked on last month, because the idea here is I don't want to just work on the same projects every month. Like, if I want to work on something in repeat months, like in this case, Winter Queen. I worked on Winter Queen in January. I'm working on her again in February, but I may not want to spend the time with her next month. So she might just go into the grab bag, if you will. Well, anyway, so I took off the ones that I had worked on last month, and then was like, okay, so it left me basically with, I think when I was done, it was 15. So I went ahead, hit the decision when you hit it once, and I have it set up so that once you you spin something, it removes that one. So the next time you hit it, and I was going to get 5 out of this original 15 that the second spin was only going to be doing out of 14, third spin was going to be out of 13. Anyway, so it's kind of nice because it's really truly arbitrary. I am not picking, and in this case, I got fall carousel horse. I got fall carousel horse in January and didn't work on it. But because I didn't work on it, it actually went back in the pile. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I might work on it this month. And if I don't, it'll go back in the pile. The idea is for me to actually like really touch all my projects, hopefully within a span of 4 months, because I mean, if I'm doing 8 projects each month and 5 of them are random, then I really should be getting, like I said, in 4 months, I will definitely have gotten through all, 22 of my whips. I am kind of toying with a new start. I haven't set on that yet, so maybe with March I'll allow that, because I do have a couple things that I do want to start this year. We'll see how it works out. But anyway, I did find that one useful, and it's kind of a nice way to, like I said, look at all my whips. I'm really excited to be pulling Lady of the Mists out, because I didn't work on her at all last year. I mean, I really haven't worked on her since I started her. And I don't know, and then it's funny that I do notice though that sensation. I'm like, oh, I really wanted blank, but I didn't put it in my chosen spots. And I think that the 3-to-5 ratio works really well, because that way I have like the ones like that I really can sit down and, buckle down, get some work on that I've picked out. And the others, pretty much the idea is to pick them up at least one day, do some work. If I get some progress, great. And if I don't, well, that's okay too. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate everybody who has subscribed, liked, commented, all of it. You guys are great. I will see you next time. Bye.